Hi, now we are going to see the separation of storage and compute in Snowflake. First, Snowflake does is separation of storage and compute. When we define a database and schema, after that we will be adding tables to the schema. Once we have the tables, we can start loading data into the tables. This is the typical structure we follow in any data warehouse. Whatever be the technology in any data warehouse, we will be following this typical structure only. And how this Snowflake technology differs from the other technology. That means what is the unique feature of the Snowflake? Here, we store data in tables stored in cloud. Okay. Here we are not going to store the data in our database that is available in the separate storage facility or whatever with the infrastructure we are having. We are going to store the data in the cloud and it consumes only storage cost. That is called storage only cost. There is no compute cost unless you execute the DDL and DML statements. What does it mean? That means you pay for the compute cost while you are running the DDL statements to create the database, schema, table, and other objects. If all these activities, the creation activity, whatever the things we are doing now, if it takes 30 minutes and you are going to pay only for the 30 minutes of computing cost. Okay. For example, you are running the load script to load data into the table and it is running for 1 hour means then we are going to pay for 1 hour only. The rest of the time, if you are not going to do any computation work means you are going to pay only storage cost. Whenever we do any computations, that is charged. That means if you are using for 5 minutes means then 5 minutes charge will be levied. That means you are going to pay for only that 5 minutes. Similarly, if you are running for 3 hours means, for example, you are running one query for 3 hours, then you will be paying for 3 hours only. Next, the virtual warehouse. What is a virtual warehouse? It is compute cluster. It is named after the virtual machine. I think you are familiar with the terminologies in the various technologies. For example, if you take Oracle, that schema and user are one and the same. But in some technology or some database, it might be different one. So in Snowflake terminology, here the virtual machine is called as virtual cluster. Okay, we can create various sizes, that virtual warehouse sizes. These nodes are nothing but instances. We can create various sizes with single node virtual warehouse or multi-node virtual warehouse. Okay. And creation of the virtual warehouse does not have any cost associated with it. It is metadata creation. You can have more than one virtual warehouse configuration. Okay. This is paper compute and paper storage. We can create single node for executing a DDLs or performing the less resource consuming activities. Okay. You can for executing the DDLs or performing the less resource consuming activities. We can create the single node virtual warehouse. Okay. At the same time, you can define 4 nodes for loading jobs to run. Loading jobs, normally it will take more space. So we can go for 4 nodes. Otherwise, we can go for single node. Okay. Here, the virtual machine is used whenever it requires, and you can shut when the activity is over. So when the activity is over means you are going to pay only the storage cost. For computation only, you can pay the compute cost. That means when the virtual warehouses are running. Okay. For example, you have created one warehouse with the 32 nodes and runs for 24 hours. Okay. And you are running 5 minutes jobs on this 32 node warehouse means, then we can calculate the number of hours. That means it runs for 24 hours only. Sorry, if it runs for 24 hours, that 5 minutes job, it is for 2 hours only. That means 5 minutes per hour. Then 24 into 5, that means 5 minutes means for 24 hours, it is only 2 hours. Okay. You have to calculate like this. This is important for the business. Moreover, the warehouse size is coming like our t-shirt size. The extra small, medium. While creating the warehouse, you can specify the size of the warehouse. Okay. Small, medium, large. Okay. If it depends upon our usage. If you are going to use the less resource, that means there is no need of that requirement, but you can go for the small to medium. Okay. For example, we are going to do some training activities, that at that time you can go for the small, medium, etc. Okay. Up to 4x lot, 128 nodes. Okay. We can create it. And this is I'm just explaining all the things theoretically. I will explain all these things in practical. Then only you can understand it. I will create one account. I will explain how to create a warehouse, how to create a schema, how to create the table, etc. Then you can easily understand. Before that, I will be explaining all the architecture in detail, the structure. Okay, the 3 layers of that: database layer, compute layer, and service layer. Okay, these 3 layers I will be explaining in detail. After that, we can go for the practicals. Then only you can easily understand. Thanks.